everybody, happy Thursday. Today we're going to start a new unit. We're going to be talking about area and perimeter. And this is going to kind of lead us into our last unit that we're going to start that is going to be about measurement. So with area and perimeter, we're going to start with perimeter. Perimeter is when we measure the distance around a closed figure or a shape that we have. And I have some examples here that we're going to do. Now, when are you going to need to be able to measure the perimeter of something and the outside of a shape? I was talking about this with my daughter, and we came up with two really good examples. One would be if you were planning on putting a fence around your yard. You would need to find out the distance all the way around your yard so that you would know how much fence that you need. Another thing is if you put up lights maybe during the holiday season, you might have to use perimeter to measure the distance around your house if you end up putting them on your house and around your roof line. So let's talk about perimeter and measuring around the distance. Perimeter is pretty easy. We are going to add up each side of the shape. So for here, we have 10 yards and 10 yards. Now these are not actually accurate measurements. These are just going to be models, and we're going to pretend that this is 10 yards or 10 yardsticks long. So what we're going to add together is 10 yards, and I'm going to cross that out after I put it down, 7 yards, and then add 10 yards and 7 yards. I cross them out. That's just a little thing that I do to help me to realize that I've already written it down here because I'm transferring it. And then if I add down 10 plus 7 is 17. 10 plus 7 is 17, so I'm making that a little simpler. And then adding down, 7 plus 7 is 14. Trade my 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So my final answer is 34. Now, it's not just 34. What unit of measurement did I use to figure it out? Yards. So my final answer for that is the perimeter of this figure is 34 yards all around. So if I was building something or planting a vegetable garden and I needed to know around the outside what I needed for wood, I could say, well, it's 34 yards around on the outside. Here is for our next example, we're going to look at a square. I know this is a square because it already shows me that on length and width, it is 6 feet for both. Now this is really interesting. On this one, we're measuring in feet. Of course, this is a model, but there are no measurements on this side. I can look at this and say, this side of my square is the same length as this side of my square. So if this is 6 feet down here, I automatically know this is going to be 6 feet at the bottom. And if this side is 6 feet, if this is the same exact length, I know this is going to be 6 feet. Now, if you notice, on this one I wrote out feet, this one I wrote the abbreviation for it. Doesn't really matter on that. Now, to find the perimeter, I need to find out the distance all the way around. So I'm going to add up. I have 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. Another way I could write that would be 6 times 4, which is going to be 24. Now, it's not just 24. I have to remember what unit of measurement I was using, and that makes it 24 feet around, and that distance all around my figure. Now the last is kind of interesting looking because you might look at this and automatically say to yourself, you know what? I need to count the inside of that. Don't count the inside, that's area, and we're gonna get to it. We're still just doing perimeter. We're finding out the outside of our figure. But the interesting part of this is that there's no measurements listed, and we don't know what unit of measurement they're using. Are they using inches, feet, yards, millimeters? We don't know. So if there's nothing mentioned, it's going to just be called units. And so we're going to need to measure the units around this figure. So for example, on here, as I count, and watch as I count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is going to be 5 units. At the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units. Over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, same as the other side, so 5 units. And this final one at the top, I'm going to scoot this board over to make it easier for everybody. It's going to be 4 units. Now to figure out the total perimeter, we're just going to be adding those measurements or those units together. So we're going to measure 4 plus 5 plus 4 plus 5. I'm going to do this to make it a little easier. I'm going to combine those two. 9 plus 9, everybody knows, is 18. How do I write this? Because it doesn't say inches or feet or anything like that. I'm going to write it as 18 units. We always need to tell the person how we're measuring something. So for instance, I go and I need to purchase wood. I need to purchase lights. I need to know how far it is around that shape and what you're using to measure. Because if I said the distance all around was 20 inches, that's going to be a lot different than if I said it's 20 yards or 20 feet. So today you're just going to practice doing perimeter and working on this, adding up the distance around the figure. If it doesn't tell you it, look and see if there's another side, if the other side of that figure is the same length and it has listed what its measurement is. So I hope that helps. I love perimeter and area, and you guys are going to like it too. It's this is something that you definitely will use in real life, especially area. You will use in real life, which we're going to get to. So have fun with this, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.